Howdy, everybody. Jiraiya here, and we are going to be talking about Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, or Infinity Castle, Infinite Castle, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you didn't see it over the weekend, spoiler alert for you, we're going to be separating this into three parts: the story, the sound design, and the visuals. Not in that order, but you guys get what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, I know I'm not clever. Please leave me alone. Don't hurt me. I'm just a young boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a young boy. Anyways, so we pick up where we left off in the beginning, right? Everybody's been dropped into the castle. Muzan just got blown up. All the Hashiras had converged. Everybody who's anybody is right in the castle, which, if you haven't, paid attention, it is infinite, ever expanding, right? They got the crows all over the place using blood art to kind of figure out where all the demons are, and everybody's basically scrambling against all the demons because this is it. This is the end game, baby. And the first fight we start off with is Doma versus Shinobu. And honestly, man, that was tough to watch. Because Doma is basically, a serial killer with a god complex. He enjoys unaliving the ladies. And, he basically, we find out through their interaction, he grew up, being told he was, a child of God. And he still very much acts like it. Him and Shinobu are going one-on-one. She's trying to use her poison on him. Bam, 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 bam. And it's kind of working. However, it's not. Basically, when she lands the final strike on him, he's like, "Oh, you almost got me, but you're too weak. Your sister was stronger. It is what it is. Sorry about that." And he basically absorbs her. And the next butterfly girl, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give this a little disclaimer. Names are not my strong suit in this anime. I just see them, I know them, I love them. But sometimes I'll forget their names, especially the butterfly girl. But anyway, she sees Doma and she's like, okay, it's time to rock and roll. But I know personally, because I have a wife who has read all the way through Demon Slayer, I know how this all ends. But you guys don't, or if you do, then you do. But there's a surprise there somewhere. So moving on. In the next fight, we see Zenitsu versus his older brother, his senpai. And we all remember he was locked in. He was falling, and he was falling right in the battle, baby. And it's because Gramps, his mentor, the Lightning Hashira, had unalived himself in pure shame because he found out that one of his successors, his co-successors, has become the sixth moon, right? And, he couldn't take that. The shame of it was too much, unalived himself. And Zenitsu, in the words of the great Michael Jordan, he took that personally, right? Obviously, Zenitsu only knows the first form of lightning breathing. However, his co-inheritor knows the other six, I believe, or the other 5 of 6, right? And they're going toe-to-toe. Homie is trashing Zenitsu, but Zenitsu's letting him know, yo, I'm still in this fight. I held you to such a high standard, bro. I was defending your honor even though you hated me. And homie was like, Zenitsu, you're garbage. I don't know why Gramps even bothered making you my co-inheritor, blah, 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 blah. But then Zenitsu lets him know what's up. Because as, senpai, big dog, sixth moon, thinks he's got the drop on Zenitsu. Zenitsu pulls out that sword and goes with the 7th form of lightning breathing. And he's like, yo, there ain't no 7th form. He's like, yes, there is. Zenitsu, your boy, made it up. And it's unfortunate that I had to use it on you. And at the end, he lets him know, hey, man, it's honestly a shame because I wish I could have unveiled this because I've been working on it. And I wish I could have unveiled it while fighting by your side right before he dies, right? Super, super sad there. But right before Zenitsu passes out, he sees Gramps. He sees a little vision of him, and he says, you are my pride and joy. It makes, everybody in the theater cry, me especially. And, he gets saved. They're trying to heal him. Moving on, we got our boy. Oh, my gosh, you guys are going to get so mad at me. Gyu and our main character. Oh, gosh. I'm, honestly, you guys come for me, but our MC, right, our boy, I'm going to remember his name. If I don't, I'm just going to put it right here, main character, MC, right? Our boy. Because, obviously I got Q on me. I got to know his name. But it's honestly because they fight my guy, the number 3, the big dog, the top contender, right? Even though Doma's number 2 and we got the number 1 moon out there somewhere looking all freaky deaky with his spider insect eyes. Akaza, the donut maker. I also cosplayed as him. If I can, I'm going to put that picture right here. I think my abs were perfect. I was obviously not going to go in the deep white as far as the skin, but I had a lot of tattoos. So I figured, you know what? In the spirit of Akaza, I'm good. I'm just going to paint my face and dye my hair and wear the suit. and I do what I want. Leave me alone. Anyways, they're in for the fight of their lives. He just starts wrecking shop the moment he gets in there. But MC hits him with the Hinokami Kagura the moment Akaza shows up, and he's like, oh, so you got strong, huh? So since you got so strong, and since you got your boy here, they just go at it, man. Like, yeah, he's impressed that, MC has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger in such a short amount of time. But you know what? It is clearly not enough. He is just going lights out on the both of them, right? They get their moments in there where they're cutting off parts of Akaza, and he's just like, okay, okay, and it's not working. And MC's just like, oh, how is he like the rant right here? I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I think out of all all the like little breaks in the action, this is the one I hated the most. And it's because it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm going to go off for a little bit. This is coming from someone who's fought, in organized fights before, who spars, who trains. So this isn't just like me saying this for the sake of a story. This is me coming from experience as well. Yes, I understand it's an anime. It's supposed to be like that. But I just think it's such a dumb thing, especially because I'm going to get into it. But anyways, he's like, how is he able to counter me? And it feels like he knows my every move, and he's able to just go right for the kill with every strike. And normally, when you have an immortal being who loves to fight, right? I know we can all think of at least a couple characters in anime who, love to fight, who are near immortal beings, right? Goku, Kenpachi, Zaraki, right? Just off the top of my head, who are, again, near immortal, love to fight. That's what they live for. You would think it's because they have been training for years that they know how to fight so well. But no, they decided, oh, he can sense people's fighting spirit. That is so incredibly stupid. I cannot... Before I crash out, once again, it is incredibly stupid. And for me, it just devalues Akaza's, skill and potency as a warrior. Yes, he's a demon, but like, it's shown in his backstory, this guy was a fighter. This guy was a warrior before he could sense anything, right? But because he's a demon and like his, amnesia kicked in after he got his head spliced in half by Muzan and became the number 3 guy, he's like, oh, I can sense people's fighting spirit. And the stronger their fighting spirit is, the easier it is to fight them, basically. Are you serious? Oh, for me, it is the sole flaw, besides the fact that there is so much, so many flashbacks in between the action that is, for me, I feel like it's just killing so much time in the movie that they could have just compressed a little bit. I get it. It's part of the manga. It's faithful to the show, or to the story. That's fine. I just found it personally. But me, personally, this little moment right here makes me so angry because, again, it devalues Akaza as a character. It devalues his skill, and it's just like, oh, so like if I can just hide my killing intent, I can get him. Okay, sure, bud, whatever. It's not because he's an immortal warrior who's been fighting for so long that, like, hey, he's got skills, he's got experience, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, before I crash out even further, rant over right here, okay? Anyways, so after MC finds out, hey, I just went on a rant about it, finds out his little weakness, he's like, okay, I'm going to hide my killing intent. He gets the strike on him. He goes full Hinokami Kagura on him with a sun breathing and cuts his head off, right? Gets him. But then Akaza is such a beast that he pulled his head back and was like, I'm not going to die. This dude literally was willing himself to live, right? And they keep pushing it to the point where it's like, okay, this dude is now just fighting headless, and his body is functioning straight off muscle memory and kicking the dog shit out of the Gyu and MC, right? And I think it's so crazy that this actually happened, because then we get a couple flashbacks. We find out homie is actually not such a bad guy. He grew up a criminal, but he was taken in by a dojo master. Dojo master's like, hey, I'm going to train you. He trains him. He's also taking care of the dojo master's daughter. Dojo master and dojo master, daughter of dojo master, and Akaza, Hajikyu, I think is his name. They all become this awesome trio in a sense that, like, he loves dojo master as a father, loves the daughter. They intend to marry, and after Akaza thinks he's about to have a happy life. Turns out they get poisoned. They get murked. He goes out for revenge. After his revenge, Muzan finds him and is like, okay, you're going to be my third, blah, 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 blah. I hope that was quick enough. I'm going to try and speed that up if I can. If not, it is what it is. But anyways, just as he's trying to heal, he sees the vision of his master and his wife to be, now slain. And they're like, no more, blah, blah, blah. All right? Like, just come back. We'll stay with you here in the afterlife, even if we don't get into heaven. And he's like so moved by this because he clearly, it said and implied that he had amnesia. He didn't really remember who he was. He just loved to fight. Right? So, anyways, oh my gosh, that was quick. They basically convince him, okay, it's not worth it anymore. So he basically just goes, hey, I'm going to turn off my plot armor. I'm going to turn off the cheat codes, and I'm just going to unalive myself. And boom, Bob's your uncle. It's done. They have, the Hashira have officially defeated the number 3 guy. Right? Everybody else is scrambling to catch a couple dubs. Movie's over, right? We see a couple things, obviously. Muzan's, still trying to heal. Everybody's like trying to kind of converge on his position. Blah, 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 blah. But that is the story for you. In all honesty, I absolutely could not stand a lot of, the flashbacks. But at the same time, I did appreciate them, right? As annoyed as I got, because every time the action was getting heavy, flashback. Action's getting heavy, flashback, 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 flashback. Please, I can't handle any more flashbacks. I'm so sorry. Anyways, moving on to the visuals, baby. Let's go. Now, moving on to the visuals. I'm going to keep this short because I just went on a huge rant, and the story portion was so long, even though I was trying to speak as fast as possible. Beautiful, amazing, 10 out of 10. When I first saw the railway, the rail line arc with Akaza and Rengoku, they clearly took the budget and just said, yeah, blank check. We don't do budgets around here. And then we saw the red light district, and they're like, oh, since we didn't do budgets last time, can we not do budgets again? They're like, baby, of course. It's like, a rich guy spoiling his girlfriend. It's like, you get whatever you want. And then with this movie, they're like, oh, this is like a normal thing. Okay. And they went with it, everything. Piece de resistance, the action, beautiful. All the movements, fantastic. Every little bit, because obviously there's no changes in designs of characters, so we don't need to go over that. But all the visuals and all the action, all the art, every single moment was visually stunning. 10 out of 10 for me. Let's move on to the sound design. Last portion, sound design, or the musical score, as I like to call it. I'm kidding. It's not just me. Everyone calls it a musical score. Once again, I'm going to keep it short. Fantastic. Mostly because it's not like we're introducing anything new. It's the same old Demon Slayer musical score, except with a little bit of cinematic crescendo in it. And it's amazing. And I love it. And every moment is highlighted by the musical score. And that's what we like to see. Well, that's what we like to hear. Every piece of action, all the sound effects, everything was beautiful sounding. Now, in terms of just non-sound design based stuff or non-musical score stuff, obviously, I thought all the voice acting was fantastic, mostly because I listened to the Japanese dub. Not that makes me superior to anybody. That's just what I prefer because I like subtitles, and I like hearing Japanese. I grew up in Japan, so when I hear Japanese, it makes me feel like I'm at home. I don't know about the English dub. I'm sure when it comes back out, I will listen to it. I saw some major stars there. Obviously, it's a lot of the same a lot of the same voice actors as the main show, but no muss, no fuss from me about it. 8 out of 10 for the musical score. Now, bringing it all together, if we consider the story, the visuals, the musical score, I very obviously heavily enjoyed this movie. My wife enjoyed it more than I did, right? Especially because she didn't have that same conniption that I just had earlier in this video about Akaza, and the fight. Oh, you know what? I'm going to move on. Anyways, my only thing about this was the flashbacks, right? I just realized I didn't give a rating for the story. The story for me was 7.5 to 8 out of 10, right? Mostly because we kind of know the story of everybody there. We know what's going on. It's just a little flashbacks. And for me, that's what holds it back, right? We're not necessarily learning a whole bunch of new information about our main characters as much as we are about the upper moons. And that's fine, right? I just couldn't stand how many flashbacks, right? I just feel like it just makes the movie feel a little more drawn out than it needs to be. But I digress. It's more accurate to the manga that way, I'm sure. At least that's what my wife says. I don't know. But I'm not a huge fan of the flashbacks. But I understand it because, hey, it's almost like there's too much. There's not enough content for a whole season unless you want to make one fight last 5 episodes. And there's plenty enough to go around for movies, but they're splitting them into 3. So I digress. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for the story. 9 out of 10 for the visuals. Or did I give it 10? What? I'm going to say 9 out of 10. Whatever. And lastly, for the sound design, the musical score, 8 out of 10. So overall, while I hated the flashbacks and that god-awful portion for me about the fighting spirit, I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you guys will all too. Go watch it in the movie theater, get you some luxury seats, sneak in a little bit of good food, and have yourself a ball. I thought this was a great movie. I can't wait for the next ones. But let me know what you guys think about the movie in the comments down below. Did you hate the flashbacks? Did you love the flashbacks? What did you think about the action? What do you think about Akaza's storyline? I loved it, minus the flashbacks, minus the fighting spirit. Oh my gosh, before I crash out, I'm calm. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you can, leave a like, a share, and subscribe if you want. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Jiraiya, out.